If you are looking for a list of what you need in order to get started with decorative cookie making, then you came to the right video. I am going to lay out everything that I recommend someone use to get started in decorative cookie making, all the way up to video creation. And a lot of the products I use actually came from Amazon. So I have a list of the tools along with links directly to them. And with Prime Day right around the corner, you might be able to get some really great deals. So with that said, be sure to check the description for the full list and we will get started. Going through the flow of cookie making, I am starting first with rubber guards because you want to make sure your cookie is even and flat. There's a 3-pack of guards that I purchased. I use the largest guards. These are about 1/4 inch, and you set them aside, put your dough in between, and then you roll your dough out. To make sure I have enough length on rolling through these guards, I use a French rolling pin. This is actually from Wilton that you can purchase on Amazon. So I use this. It does not have handles, but you just use your hands to flatten and roll out that way. This is an example of what the setup would look like. You may want to use the thinner guards for lighter weight cookies or thinner cookies, and I often use them also for pie crust. Then for cookie cutting, there are a couple of things that I would recommend you start with. The first is this bucket of cookie cutters. There's 101 shapes. It has letters, numbers, shapes for all of the different holidays, then basic shapes like starbursts, stars, circles, squares. And it comes in very handy if you're gonna have something to start with. I think that's probably the most robust. But there's also times where you're probably gonna want to hand cut something special. So I just use an X-Acto knife, very simple. You just wanna make sure your dough is nice and cool before you cut, but have other videos on that to explain that piece. As you're getting started decorating, you are going to need piping bags. So I like these nice thin bags. You can actually wash them and use them if you need to reuse them, and then I also feel less guilty about creating waste. But I like the thinness of them. I don't have a lot of problems with them splitting or breaking, and it just feels a little bit more comfortable when you're pressing out the icing. It's not as thick in your hand. It feels like you can get a little bit more movement through these. And then scribe tool. You can get packs of a dozen of these. You really only need 1 or 2 to start with. But for me, this is really comfortable. It's lightweight. It's better than a toothpick because there's a little bit more length to it. And then I don't like a lot of heft on the back. There's some really cute ones that you can get that have jewels or little stones, but I just like this nice, basic, simple, lightweight, feels good in my hand, can get my icing moved around quickly on my cookie. And once your cookies are completely decorated, this is a little secret, very basic, but something that I've learned the hard way many times. In order to store them, you need a pretty heavy duty container and one that has a flat bottom. So sometimes there are ridges in the bottom of the containers, or if the plastic is a little bit thinner, like those that you would get just from the supermarket, when you put weight of cookies on, it'll bend down and then your cookies may crack. So I like this Rubbermaid really firm bottom. It holds the weight, and you can see it doesn't really wiggle around at all as you push it down. So this is a great way to store your cookies in between layering or overnight so that they stay nice and fresh. And then the last thing I would recommend someone start out with is a box of gel food coloring. So I use AmeriColor gel food coloring. I buy the student kit. It's a box of 12, I believe. And I think that's a nice basic kit to start out with, but I also do recommend some white gel paste from AmeriColor as well to start with. When you're moving to the next phase, you find you like cookie decorating and you want to invest a little bit more in it, I recommend a little cookie turntable. So this is something that spins when you have it sit on the counter. and you can move this around instead of touching your cookie as you're decorating. And then I also love, mine came with this little rubber mat on it. So sometimes if you're using a thicker icing, like 15-second icing, you need to jiggle it down a little bit, but if you're touching the edges, you might smudge it. So I like to pick up, you'll see in some of my videos, this little mat and kind of shake my cookie on it so it's nice and smooth, and then I don't have to touch my cookie. So it is a double bonus, or a bonus, single. Likely at this stage, you might be painting some cookies. So I have two different types of paintbrushes that I use. This is a really tiny detailed brush. I have a pack of them. They come in different sizes. So this is one that you'll constantly see me using in videos. And then this is a watercolor brush. This also came in a pack with different sizes and tips. I use this a lot for blending. It works very well for that, or if you're gonna do some sort of watercolor design on your cookies. But these are the two sets that I use most often. And then in terms of video content, you are gonna want a nice solid background. So I have this silicone rubber white mat. It's nice because it does not reflect any light, so it's nice and matte. And then you can wash off. I actually do have some icing on it right now, but it washes off pretty well. My phone is placed right now on my Archon mount, so this is what I use. It has a lot of different segments that you can move around and get the position of your phone where you need to, so it can be directly above you, a little bit off to the side, in front of you. So it is pretty versatile. These are the tabletop lights that I use in order to make sure my work is illuminated as it gets a little bit darker. So they come in a set of two, and I usually have them placed kind of diagonal from each other. But once you turn them on, you can light up your space. And this lighting is really not flattering for me. So I'm gonna turn them off for this segment. I can show you one more thing. It's my baby, my new KitchenAid mixer. I'll bring you over. This is my little pride and joy, my KitchenAid mixer. This is the limited edition 100th anniversary, I believe. Yes, 100 years. So this, of course, was purchased because it's beautiful. It fits exactly my style and motif. It is a little bit of a bigger base, and it comes with this bowl. The color is called Misty Blue, in case you're gonna search for something like this. I think you can only buy it through the KitchenAid store or website. I do know sometimes it's out of stock, but they did come back into stock and I was able to get one. My husband bought it for me for my birthday. Thank you, Andre. I would definitely recommend at some point, if you don't have one, investing in one of these. They last a long time and they really make my life a lot easier. Actually, my aunt gifted me my first KitchenAid, and that's how I got started in baking. So you never know where it's gonna take you. And that's it. Now you are a cookie decorating expert. You're all set up, you're ready to go. If you have any questions, feel free to include them in the comments and I will get back to you. And if you are interested in anything I showed you today, I'm in the Amazon Associates program. If you do purchase through the links that I provided, it will help my small business and I will very much appreciate that. And in the meantime, good luck getting started and I hope to hear from you in the comments.